Tonight on SmackDown AfterBuzz, we got to talk about SmackDown moving to Tuesdays, going live, splitting the roster, people requesting their releases. And by the way, we have SmackDown to cover too, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, we haven't heard this song in a long time. And it feels good to hear it, and it feels good to be here live on AfterBuzzTV.com. Listen to the YouTube page, the iTunes, the SoundCloud, the liking, the subscribing, the 5 stars, all that good stuff. And a couple things happened this week that we got to talk about. So we're going to get right into it. I am Christian Rosenberg, the Twitter at Real Rosenberg, Instagram, The Real Rosenberg, Facebook, YouTube, Christian Rosenberg, the t-shirts, ProWrestlingTees.com/Christian Rosenberg. Hey! Scott Narver at Curtain Jerks, you're wearing Cactus Jack today.
I am. I was in a very good mood today, so I decided to bust out my favorite shirt of all time.
Why were you in such a good mood?
Just a great day. Yeah. Feeling good. Not so sick anymore. It's still in the throat a little bit, but I knew it was coming to SmackDown. No, I feel fine. It was a good week. Like, it was a
Scott just vomited all over Christy.
It's a fun pay-per-view. It's been a great week overall, so I decided to bust it out.
Nice. And looking lovely as always at Chris Reports, it's Christy Olson.
Well, why, thank you. I'm going to try to just grab some of his good vibes. I'm just going to feel them. He's not going to have any left by the time the show is over. I'm going to be the one smiling.
Well, before we get into just breaking down...
It's already happened.
Before we get breaking into SmackDown, I mean, normally we would say some things for the news and gossip at the end, which we still certainly have stuff for that. But there's just a massive story that we need to talk about right at the top of the show. Of course, I'm talking about the fact that I am not the predictions champion.
That's not news.
Oh, well, I literally had
That's
Sunday
not
night.
News. That is the constant.
I kid you not.
The sun will rise. The sun will set.
Hold on, I kid you not. On Sunday, I was watching some of the pay-per-view live, and then I happened to have a gig, so I was going to watch the rest of it later on. I checked my phone. I kid you not. I had over 50 tweets, including from you, Scott. People telling me, oh my God, Christian, you actually won the predictions title. You did it. Holy crap, miracles happen. All this. And I'm like, oh, cool. I finally won it. That's pretty sweet.
It wasn't that mellow, I'm sure.
I was like, oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
I forgot that happened.
And then,
that must have been incredibly hilarious.
And then I went to, tweet, because we have an AfterBuzz TV Predictions Champ Twitter. The name is like ABTV Predictions Champ of the WWE Forever and Ever or something. It's way too long. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, congrats to George on being champion. I'm like, I'm confused. Why is everyone tweeting me, but George won? I say conspiracy.
This is Steve Kaufman's fault?
I say there was alcohol involved.
That probably was. So
this is Steve Kaufman's fault, is what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying at the end of the day, George did win by a tiebreaker. I could blame George, I could blame Steve, but in reality, I'm blaming you, Scott.
Oh.
Me?
Okay.
And the reason being, last week, you told me I had to think outside the box to make my picks.
Yeah, and you didn't do that.
And I went outside the box by picking Natalya to beat Charlotte, when everyone knows Charlotte is the dirtiest player in the game. But you pressured me to choose otherwise, so this loss is on you.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not bitter at all, though. I'm not at all bitter.
Just displacing that blame.
I knew I was feeling
let
good
him get away with that?
I knew I was feeling good. I picked this shirt for a reason.
Okay, but I had to just say that at the beginning. By the way, I guess George has a bunch of classic wrestling stuff he's trying to sell on eBay, so he wants you to tweet at him to find out info on that, and he's the champ and wanted me to say it, so he's going to buy 5 of my shirts now.
The champ is selling his old stuff on eBay?
I don't know.
The champ wouldn't
like
do
figurines
that.
I don't
and
know.
cool stuff.
Tweet him at G Hermoso if you really want. But let's get into what's really important. The serious actual news. SmackDown's moving. In July, SmackDown will be going...
Back to Syfy.
No.
Oh.
No. They're staying on USA.
Oh.
Not only will stay on USA, SmackDown for the first time, I think, ever, on a regular basis, is going live on Tuesdays, beginning in July. And we will be splitting the rosters again.
We'll do it?
The three of us are going to split the roster. So we got a couple months to try to really decide who should go where.
Right. Someone call Cameron. Tell her she's back on the roster.
Well,
good. I want to get the boogeyman. He's my number one.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Mantar. It's all about Mantar,
We got a show.
guys.
We've got a way better show than Raw at this point.
Mantar, Boogeyman, Cameron, book it.
Yes. The fans are already going wild.
Yeah. So, first off, let's talk about the impact of... We'll get into the roster split in a minute. Let's talk about the fact that it's moving live to Tuesdays and how awesome this is.
Well, because live television is just far more important than TV that's not live. It always has been. It always will be. It almost doesn't even... You shouldn't even bother to watch things that aren't live. But I'm on the SmackDown show, so I watch SmackDown. But now I can go back to my true belief that only live television matters.
Is Total
and
Divas live?
SmackDown is going to
How
matter.
many Total
what
Divas
if
is live?
Total Divas was live?
Oh my God.
What if one episode was live? Would that be crazy?
That would be actually
They
be
did do
entertaining.
like a reunion thing one time.
So, SmackDown, obviously, when it moved from Syfy to USA, numbers went up. But we always still have the typical thing. They film it on Tuesdays. People naturally will go online, read the spoilers. If they like what it sounds like, then they'll tune in. If they're not a fan of it, then they won't. Now, they're going to check it out live. As it happens, their ratings are going to skyrocket from this.
Social media engagement will rise.
All of that. So I think it's a brilliant move. And obviously, we'll be figuring out the kinks here, but I would expect us to be moving to Tuesdays in July.
Yeah, that's a commonly asked question in the chat roll right now. Like, what's going to happen to the AfterBuzz show? What's going to happen?
We got a couple months to get it all scheduled, but I would expect us to be on Tuesdays start in July once it moves. The time and everything, no idea yet, but obviously we'll be keeping you posted.
If we're not live, then don't even bother to watch us either, people. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
We're taped.
We're always
Oh.
live.
We're live. But now, along with that, we are going to, as Vince always said, shake things up again.
Grapefruits. Oh, I was guessing.
He says that too.
Yeah.
Christy's shimmying, but that's not what he was. That's
you
not
know your
grapefruits.
dance moves. I'm not going to get away with a shimmy when I was supposed to be shaking. My bad.
Well, Scott said grapefruits, and you started shimmying. I'm like, I think she thinks boobs mean grapefruits.
They
No.
could.
I was trying to shake things up. That's what that was.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
They're
So,
called things.
roster splitting. It has worked at
Or maybe
times.
not so excited about
It has not worked at times. Let's talk about this for a moment.
Okay.
My main concern is that they seem to have no idea what they're doing with splitting the roster. From everything
We
I
got
can...
2 months.
Yeah, but this is a big idea. It's a big plan, and it feels like something that should be in motion for a while to get everybody on board. You know what I mean? I feel like let's just get these details out right now. Like, don't release the press release before you've got the deets.
True. That's a good point. I was a big fan of the roster split initially.
Yes.
When we had one undisputed champion on that would go between both shows. You would have a pay-per-view contender on one of them, and then on the other show, like classic example, I'm trying to remember. It was Jeff Hardy was on Raw, and Undertaker was champion, and then whoever he was fighting for the pay-per-view was like that was the opponent, but there was the possibility of he was going to lose it to a contender on Raw and shake stuff up, and then that was the champion that goes on both shows. The women's champion on both shows, and then the tag team champs be on both shows. U.S. champion, Intercontinental champion on particular branded shows. And that's it. Like, guys don't switch. There would be the occasional pay-per-view where it's one side faces the other, or you'd see them backstage and you get excited for the draft of what if they meet up again. If you keep it separate, it's entertaining and amazing. But if they muddle it again, it means nothing, and who cares? So I hope I'm excited for the idea. I just don't know if they'll keep it that separate.
Well, I got a few pros and cons to it.
Okay.
So I figure we can
Okay.
kind of bring it up. First off, the pro, which is the most obvious one that we tend to get when we hear about this, more opportunities for guys because
and gals.
You're right. Because they're going to be divided up. This is your designated show. This is your designated show. You can get a feud, maybe eventually build into a title picture. I mean, the best example of that back on the first draft and split would have been Edge, in my opinion, because that split moved Edge to be a main eventer. So it can definitely happen. Another pro that I've not really seen anyone talk about.
Oh.
If you have people only wrestling on Raw and some people only wrestling on SmackDown, that means they are wrestling one less day in the week, which means there is that much less chance of injuries happening. So it will help people be healthier. There's the old school mentality of, oh no, there's an extra day for them to recuperate, and they should be wrestling every day of the week. No, they should be resting.
I don't know that that's really been decided, though, because they're talking about, the live tours, too, and what days everyone's going to be on, and they're not necessarily going to get another day off out of this.
What I'm saying is, like the Monday Night Raw group, they will maybe just travel on Tuesdays, not necessarily wrestle on Tuesdays, and then maybe have a show on Wednesdays where they don't normally have shows then. But they're given that extra space. So most likely the wrestlers are going to have one less day to compete because now there's going to be Raw brand house shows, SmackDown brand house shows. So I think it will end up actually diminish the amount of matches the individuals are wrestling. Those are our main prawns. Oh. Like mixed pros and cons.
Pros. That's better than shrimp. They're way bigger.
I agree. As far as cons go, the first thing I'm honestly worried about the most is the women.
That makes two of us, Christian.
I'm worried about these prawns.
Prawns are going to be okay, Scott. They're going to be okay.
What about the women prawns?
Oh!
That I still have to look into.
And the king crabs.
Well, King Lawler is going to take care of the king crabs.
Okay, good.
If they divide the women's division up and you designate, let's just say in July Charlotte's still champion, just for this example, and you say she can only be on Raw and she doesn't switch from show to show. Well, now not only do you have this group of women on SmackDown that cannot get a shot at the women's title, but now you've cut the amount of women that the champion can feud with in half. And that really hurt the women's division at that point, because then they added the Divas title there too, and it was just like the same 4 girls on this show going after it, the same 4 girls on this show going after it. There's about 8 to 10 women currently on the roster, not counting like Emma and Tamina who out hurt. They're going to bring Bayley up. Asuka will eventually be up. That's going to happen. But if you divide that up, that's going to hurt it. Same thing goes with the tag team division. If the New Day is only on, just say, SmackDown, and then are you just going to create a separate tag titles for Raw, that cuts it down.
Well, that's what I'm hoping that you go with the storytelling of the Kevin Nash mentality, where the champ gets to be on both shows. That's more money for the champ. That's more exposure. They're a bigger name, and that's what you're striving for. You want to be everywhere. You want the opportunity to be the tag champs that are on Raw and SmackDown. You want to be the women's champ that's on Raw and SmackDown. If you're not, you're on a show. That's it. And it's just more is better once you're champion, and the champion has to work harder. The pressure, the more dates, more appearances, like that's what comes with being a champion in this day and age. I think would be the better way to go.
I like that.
What I would love to happen, and we all know that means it won't happen, is WWE champion travels to both shows. Tag team champions travel to both shows. Women's division can travel to both shows, or you put them all just on one show.
Depending on the week.
Because also with this Cruiserweight Open that they got going on in the summer, if they decided, hey, we're just going to build up the roster and make a Cruiserweight champion and division with that, then you just have all them solely on one show, all the women solely on one show, IC title on one show, US title on one show. Those can stay put, but your main champion and tag champions can move. If you start adding a women's champion on both shows, tag champions on both shows, world champions on both shows, it's going to get completely oversaturated, and that's really when the split fell apart for me. And you were kind of touching on that earlier, Scott. The other big thing is, how will this impact NXT? Because you're splitting this roster in half, which means Raw's going to be a lot harder to fill 3 hours with. They're going to need more people there. There are going to be more NXT call-ups. Some obviously are due to go up. Like we said, Bayley, Balor, etc. Mm-hmm. But you can't bring everyone up and leave not much in NXT. You got to balance it out.
And they've been very careful about that.
They have been, and they've done a great job at it up to this point. But now you're essentially having NXT be the call-ups for 2 shows instead of 1. So if you're taking double the people out of NXT at once, that might thin out NXT a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It could. I mean, there's opportunities for, I mean, we're seeing, not tonight, but, make Darren Young great again, and we're seeing Bob Backlund come back. There's opportunities for, I think, it shouldn't just be limited to active wrestlers. Have more segments or more, legendary wrestlers come back and fill in those gaps. Like, it doesn't need to be so standard. If you're dealing with the 3-hour Raw, throw some legends in there. Mm-hmm. Have them be more personality driven.
And Triple H has been seemingly teasing some kind of changes at NXT.
He did send out a tweet about the Balor Joe match, saying like the end, like they're calling it NXT Takeover the end, and what that means. Maybe it has something to do with the roster split. Who
probably
knows?
Does.
We'll find out. So we'll be obviously breaking this down a whole lot more as the weeks go on.
This is a pivotal time, and what could be like great, or it could be, oh, remember when that happened again?
Absolutely. And then does this mean we're going to have separate Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views? Are we going to have 2 each month?
I can get on board with that.
People are going to get sick of us talking about the predictions title if we're doing 2 of those a month.
But it gives you another chance to finally win it.
Or are we going to have a SmackDown predictions title, and I only have to try to beat the 2 of you, and still will fail every time?
I was going to say, that doesn't fare any better for you. Sorry.
We'll be breaking all this down more and more as the weeks go on. And please, if anything, don't add a second heavyweight title. Keep 1 champion. Please. That's all I ask.
Don't add any more champions.
No.
I'm not champions. We're good. No more.
I'm not against the Cruiserweight title if they do add that. But at the same time, well, Neville and Zayn and Breeze, they'd all be considered Cruiserweights then, wouldn't they? And Kalisto. So they wouldn't have their regular matches?
They're tiny. Don't let Vince see tiny people. He doesn't like them.
Oh, and speaking of that, that's the other thing. Possibility of tag teams breaking up. I will put money on Enzo and Cass get broken up from this roster split. I will put money on that.
No. And then who gets Carmella?
Superstars.
Oh, God.
So let's get into SmackDown now. I know we're only like 20 minutes in, and now we're just starting to talk about the show. We knew there was a lot of stuff. We still got news, so we're going to break the show down as best we can. A lot of news this week. Michael Cole starts on SmackDown, which is odd in itself, in the ring with the briefcase.
And a soul patch.
Yeah.
And the briefcase is down in the ring. Anyone can just grab it, and then they can cash into the contract. Mm-hmm. It wasn't hanging up.
Anybody think it was weird seeing that the promo for Money in the Bank during the pay-per-view and actually seeing Roman pull out the contract? Because you never see the contract.
That's true.
It's so weird where it's always the briefcase and like there's a contract inside and like, let's see it. Roman Reigns actually pulled it out. It looked official.
And maybe he just pulled it out and took it out of the briefcase, so now next time someone tries to cash it in, no, sorry, there's no actual contract in here.
Yeah, the refs should be checking.
They should.
That would be a pretty smart move.
Yeah, yeah, you got to get it notarized. I mean, that's a must. Michael Cole brings out Ambrose, talking about him qualifying for Money in the Bank. Ambrose starts talking about the Asylum match, and Extreme Rules was great, by the way. I know we didn't really talk about that too much. But I loved Ambrose line here. When things start getting dangerous, I'm just getting started. Because he's a lunatic. It says on his shirts. I mean, it doesn't say talk Rosie talk like my shirts.
No. But he doesn't have medical bills.
No. Well, and he really should.
He should, but he doesn't. He's a tough guy.
He owns the asylum.
He does. Interrupted by Kevin Owens. Owens yells at Michael Cole to get out of the ring, much to the delight of the fans. And then Owens talks about how he's going to win Money in the Bank. He's interrupted by Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn starts talking about how he's going to win Money in the Bank. And then they're interrupted by Alberto Del Rio. he ain't in the match as of yet. And Sami Zayn reminds him, hey, you still got to beat Zack Ryder to get in Money in the Bank. To which the three of us are just like, all right, Del Rio's in Money in the Bank now.
Mm-hmm. Which is a surprise, because I thought that with Cena coming back, he and Del Rio would fire things up again, and that would be what Del Rio would be busy doing. So I was surprised.
I honestly completely forgot about that. Because it's not around the U.S. title picture or anything. That would have made perfect sense for a first feud for Cena.
Right? But alas, I was shot down.
No, I guess
by
not.
Zack Ryder.
Damn it, Ryder! How dare you have a big match? The nerve of you.
Well, at least he won it.
Oh, did you go? Oh, you went to the bathroom at that time.
Oh, what happened?
Del Rio versus Ryder happened, and first off, Zack Ryder gave a very emotional side promo without a shirt on for some reason.
Yeah, just sitting there shirtless.
Yeah, he's just sitting there being interviewed without a shirt.
He's slightly less annoying without a shirt on, so I'll take it. I'm just kidding.
Outclassed all the time. That is Christy Olson. He mentions that I'm not supposed to be here, but I deserve to be here.
Did he get his release and he's still showing up to work? Is that what happened? You can't do that.
Well, maybe they just don't have the heart to tell him.
Oh, so he's like Milton from The Office. They
Yes.
just stopped paying him.
Yes.
Okay.
But he's just still showing up and doing his job.
It's weird to say that I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm still here.
A little bit.
As the thing, like, I ain't supposed to be here. I'm not like all these other 240-pound ripped dudes. Like, I'm not even supposed to be here.
I'm supposed to be at home taking care of my girlfriend.
Get well, Emma.
Right.
So it was a good match, but it ended pretty much as we thought it would. Del Rio locked in the cross-arm breaker, got the win. Del Rio's now in Money in the Bank.
They teased it, though. I did think he was going to win a couple of times.
You did?
Yeah, like when he hit the Rough Rider, I'm like, oh my god, I think he's actually going to... Dang it.
Well, we were speculating that he actually tried to knock Del Rio out with that kick in the corner there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the broski boot looked pretty legit.
Yeah. And Del Rio, he's the only one in Money in the Bank right now. The only one in Money in the Bank that has actually won Money in the Bank. So they have that story going. He's the only one who knows how to win the match.
Yeah, the others are totally clueless.
Others have not a clue.
So I grab it and then I put myself on the hook? Like, I don't... Wait, hold on.
How am I going to get up there?
Well, what they think is they have to climb up the ladder, open the briefcase, grab the contract, run down the street to a notary, get it notarized, bring it back, put it back in the briefcase, and then they're good.
It's a way of doing it. And they didn't say who the final...
We have one more.
Match. Yeah.
We have one more spot. We'll probably find out on Raw.
Do we think the winner has already been included in the match?
What?
Like, do we think the winner is already there, or is the soon-to-be winner going to be...
Oh, do we think the seventh person would be the Money in the Bank winner?
Yeah.
I don't know. It really depends on who it is.
Okay.
So I won't answer that until we know who it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually try to speculate on what they're doing with storyline once we see which guys are in it, but I don't know.
Okay.
Enzo and Cass come out. They're ready to cut their usual promo. Immediately interrupted by the Dudleys. And Enzo then says his nickname is Google Maps because he has no problem addressing anybody. I mean, everything this guy says is so golden.
So good.
Dudley's pretty much call him out saying, we want to face you. Enzo and Cass are like, let's do it. Dudley's walk up to the ring and then they're like, nah, not tonight, and walk away. And that was the whole segment.
The classic Dudley.
I mean, Enzo and Cass, like, they're already in their gear and everything. We figured, they're going to at least wrestle, maybe distracted by the Dudleys. Out comes Social Outcast or whatever to have a match with them. I don't know, but no, that was just a whole damn segment. That was it.
Yeah, yep. And then there was a very fun lingerie that Enzo was wearing there.
It was not lingerie. It was a gun holster, which I don't know if they realized that he's...
Listen, when your holster is leopard print, it's lingerie.
Yeah, that they sell
Do you
the
have a
gun
leopard
holster.
print gun holster, Christy?
I mean, a pink leopard print one.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, the fella's by the gun holster.
I have so much to learn, Scott. So much.
Hey, we all know what's going on under that table.
Oh. Well, Zack Ryder didn't wear a shirt for his sit-down portion, I guess.
But he had a gun holster.
Yeah. So, we got to get into our lovely weekly segment, though. It's time. And unfortunately, it's not the Darren Young one, because there's no damn Darren Young promo tonight.
Backlund gave up, or what do we think?
He gave up on Darren. He just gave up.
It's like he's actually really frustrating. He doesn't understand anything I'm talking about.
No, so for those of you new to the show, first off, thanks for tuning in. Every week we like to do a segment. We call it Believe That because Christy loves dirt sheets.
Yay.
And I don't. I was trying to be nice about it this week.
I appreciate that.
I don't.
So sweet.
Yeah, thank you. But Christy finds a story that she finds very entertaining, wants to read it to Scott and I to see whether or not we believe it for your enjoyment. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Put on your helmets. Just believe that.
Yes.
You would think they would at least give us like a hose to hose down the flames from the explosions.
I got something in my mouth that time.
Ooh.
All right, Christian, what do we got this week?
Here. Well, of course, we're speculating whether this brand split means that WWE is scrambling to sign more talent. Will former WWE star and Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle be one of those? Now, we know that he is not under contract right now, and Kurt Angle himself recently just said that he would like to form a new Team Angle with NXT champs American Alpha. Mm-hmm. So, will he make it there? Apparently, Vince McMahon strongly opposes this. He is concerned that if something happens to Kurt Angle, now he has been kept himself out of trouble for a couple years and he's been clean and sober, but Vince is concerned that if he relapses or he gets himself into trouble again, that America will kind of turn on the WWE and blame Vince McMahon and that they're going to have trouble with sponsorships. However, it seems like a no-brainer to sign this guy. So, gentlemen, regarding Vince McMahon hating the idea of bringing Kurt Angle back, do you believe that?
Is it WrestleMania time? Because that's the only time they would bring him back.
Oh.
For like a one-off. Because you're building a new era. As incredibly talented as he still is. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's lost step from back in his prime, of course. But he could still put on a great match with a Cena, a Rollins, a Reigns. A regular weekly performance from him, his body can't do it anymore.
Okay.
I mean, how many times has he broken his damn neck?
That's true.
As far as the personal issues, the DUIs or whatever, we've had people come back from those before. So I don't really see that as the issue. So I guess I believe the possibility in that regard. But as far as a regular full-time, no. I would love to see him back. I would love to see a great WrestleMania feud build-up match so then we can get Angle in the Hall of Fame, which he's long overdue for.
Yes.
But overall, I will say no.
Okay. I was on such a streak there for a while.
I don't know. This is a tough one. This is really, really tough. I feel... they always have such unusual relationships with guys that it goes hot and cold. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how they feel about Angle. Because it always seems like there's always something being said, or Angle has at times said something very unusual in regards to WWE publicly, which I think is very strange to do. I don't know why he does those things. But maybe he's just confident in his ability that he can speak openly. I don't know. This is a tough one. I would think. I'm gonna believe
Stumped ya.
I'm gonna believe it. I'm gonna believe that Vince is having difficulties wanting to bring him back because of schedule or any PR stuff or anything like that. Because he's racked up a number of things that can be troublesome. But I'm sure Vince wants to bring him back and make it good, but just maybe can't right now.
I mean, not today, but
yeah. But if he's gonna miss the window if he doesn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, his window's pretty thin at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is Angle now?
I don't know, but
he's well in his 40s.
What you were saying,
Yeah.
Kurt goes 150% every match.
Right.
He doesn't mail it in. So, I'd like to see it the other way, but I believe it.
All right. Split, brand split, boy split. I like it.
Oh.
I like it.
Okay. We gotta keep. We only got like 20 minutes left, and we still got a lot of SmackDown and news to go over.
All right, give it to us, Rosie.
Renee's backstage with Rusev. Highlight of this: Rusev says milk is for babies and championships are for grown men.
Agreed.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Aren't you trying to get wholesome again? Milk is for champions.
Make Christy wholesome
No.
again.
The point of milk is to turn a 3-pound calf into a 500-pound cow. Like, they don't need no milk.
It's full of calcium and vitamin D.
and pus and antibiotics and steroids and
Whoa, I want milk.
yes.
By the way, it's time for our live read of by Got Milk.
Man,
Damn.
you got to start testing wrestlers for milk.
I know, seriously.
Sorry, milk.
That leads us to United States Championship rematch from Extreme Rules: Rusev versus Kalisto. Rusev first off demanded to be introduced first, and I love how Lawler's like, "Yeah, the champion always gets introduced first." When does that ever happen? Shame on you, Jerry. Shame. Fun match. Real fun match at Extreme Rules. Another fun match tonight.
Yeah.
450 attempt by Kalisto. Rusev got the knees up, and then the big kick to the back of the head. And I think Kalisto officially takes the accolade better than anyone else in the history of mankind. Because he is literally bent in half backwards. Now, that's Cactus Jack on his shirt.
Oh, my bad.
Mankind has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, Dude Love might take it better.
Yeah, Dude Love might take it a little better than Mankind.
Yeah, I don't think Kalisto has a say in how he wants to take the accolade.
You don't think so?
I just think it happens, and he's like, "Oh, sweet God, I can't even tap out with the way I'm bent around."
Well, by the way, to get back on the milk subject, chat roll's talking about, hey, Kurt Angle loves milk.
Yeah, Milkomania.
Yeah.
I was there.
What?
I was in Sacramento.
Come on, Christy.
I feel like he's drinking enough of it for both of us. I'm good.
So, accolade on Kalisto. Rusev crushed. Rusev retains his title. After the match, he's getting ready to put it on Kalisto again. But the man to save Kalisto is one Titus O'Neil. Remember him?
Yeah, where the heck's he been?
He's just
Shaking
been hanging
hands
out.
and
Yeah, pushing people.
Pushing charities because he's a good person.
yeah, this was surprising.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
For all the hype of making someone great again, and then apparently
Titus, it goes back to Titus. Everything goes back to Titus.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darren.
he's bigger. We know who likes that.
So we'll see where that leads to. Then we get a breakdown with superstars and I was about to say divas because we were talking about the brand split, and I stopped myself. With various superstars talking about Charlotte's promo with her father on Raw, because I know we need to spend a few minutes talking about that, because Chrissy and I disagree drastically on this.
Yeah, we do.
Fascinating.
I want Chrissy to go first, because I want to hear why you did not like this promo.
Okay. I found that I did not think that it was executed well. It sounded like she was trying to remember lines from a script that was written for her. This is the kind of thing that should be heartfelt. She should have just been able to go out there and tell her real life story. But this was clearly, there were things that they wanted her to say, and then she kind of screwed it up a few times and then went back to things, and then it was like, then she was talking about her mom, and then she went back to him, and then she was talking about mom again. Like, I feel like it sounded rehearsed, but not rehearsed enough. And I just didn't. I like Charlotte, and I think she's a fantastic heel. I don't know why this came across as so ill executed, but I thought that it was. And I was actually surprised. I thought it was so bad that I was surprised that you guys thought it was good.
Yeah, I loved it. I felt there was a lot of pauses in her promo, which in some aspects is not a good thing, but in this case I think it worked because one, the audience was so adamant about it and they were so into it that she had to keep cutting off to yell at them. But there were times you can see Charlotte getting caught up in emotion and she kind of stopped herself so then she could keep delivering it.
See, I watch The Real Housewives, so I don't buy any of that fake cry crap.
Oh, so you watch a fake show.
Where they also fake cry on Real Housewives, because that's what they do. I know, I'm just saying, all of that, none of that emotion came across as genuine to me. And it certainly should be. She certainly should feel that way, and I'm sure that she does.
I just loved, bringing up the fact that, hey, he's been trying to live back in the spotlight again from her. Hey, you were constantly traveling all the time. Now I understand why, because of all the power you get and all the confidence you feel. And now that I have that, I realize I don't need you. Like, you didn't really need me back then. Like, that's what I got from it. And we knew this was coming in some fashion.
Yes.
Based on how she's been treating Rick the last few weeks. It was surprising. In fact, someone tweeted me, like a few international listeners tweeted me, how they were offended by how she spoke to her father. Because I guess, like in other countries, you don't disrespect your parents that way.
Yeah, you don't do that in Botswana. That's not okay.
To all our fans of Botswana, we apologize for this segment. But I mean, I thought it was great, and I think it elevated her to a new level as far as the villain, as far as the heel, because we already knew she was heel. She's cocky, she's a flair. That's all already there.
You're just buying what the pretty blonde girl is selling all over the place. My goodness.
She is pretty.
She is.
I just feel bad for Dana Brooke. That is some big shoes to fill.
She's the new Arn Anderson now.
That's not the case at all. She might be Paul Roma.
Come on, at least give her Sid Vicious.
No, she's got to earn. Like, you start at Roma and you can work your way up, but to go like, hey, you're gonna substitute Ric Flair. Oh, I was hanging with Emma before. Oh man, I hope she does all right, because that is a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
I think she can do it.
Well, we kind of got our first taste of it when Dana took on Natalya tonight. Charlotte's on commentary. This match was about 30 seconds long. Natalya got the sharpshooter on Dana, and Charlotte ran in, started beating her up. Ref calls DQ. Charlotte and Dana left Natty line, and that was that whole segment.
Mean girls.
Because if Natalya's not necessarily the number one contender anymore, and pretty much the story's just been all about, this, at least this week, Charlotte, turning on her father. There's never been a better time, and it probably never will be a better time for them to actually attempt a women's Money in the Bank match than right now.
Everyone's been asking for it.
Because right now, because technically Charlotte's not really feuding with anyone, and we got 3 weeks or so till the pay-per-view.
That's true.
You can put Dana in there to protect Charlotte, Natalya, Sasha, Becky, Paige. Naomi tweeted that she's been cleared. There's
Perfect.
6 right there. So you can do it. I probably was forgetting someone too. There's probably 7. So this is the one time that you can actually pull this match off. And then if I was a writer, which I'm not, I would say you have Naomi win that. And I know you weren't expecting me to say Naomi.
No, but I like it. I'm on board.
Then you have Sasha win the title at SummerSlam, finally gets it, only to immediately get cashed in by Naomi. And Naomi becomes champ. And then you have the Team Bad Girls feud.
Oh, I like that. I like it.
But we know that's not going to happen. Anywho, Renee's backstage.
The mean girls versus the bad girls.
Yeah. Renee's backstage with AJ Styles. AJ pretty much says he's not sure what's next for him. And that was that. Golden Truth versus Breezango. Yep, that's the name.
Just can't believe that they passed up Gorge Dongo.
Gorge Dongo.
Yeah.
How did they decide against that one?
Right? I mean...
The nerve of them.
We're fan selfies.
Oh.
Or self-dongo?
Yeah, self-dong.
Self-dong.
Oh.
Self-dong. Dong self. Dongo Self.
Yeah. Dongo Self.
That sounds like you guys are posting a dirty picture on the
Team
internet. That's
Dongo
what that
Self.
sounds like.
You can look that up next to Submission Sorority. R-Truth had new lyrics to his theme song for the first time in 10 years. That was cool. Fandango knocked Goldust off the apron. Truth went for a tag. Goldust wasn't there. Goldust tried to get in. Ref was trying to keep him in his corner. Supermodel kick by Breeze. Fandango made the cover. Breezango wins. And Golden Truth have another meeting backstage. And they say, we're the baddest tag team in WWE.
They're not discouraged.
No. We can do this.
Yeah. I like this story. I like that it's not just a new tag team and they win, that they have adversities and they have troubles and they're going to get through them. I like this story.
Yeah.
And backstage, Tyler Breeze told them, hey, Goldilocks fell off their beanstalk and cracked their own eggs. That's 3 different nursery rhymes.
Not quite an Enzo line, but it was all right.
No,
I don't think he was
like
exactly trying for it. I don't think he was trying to be Enzo there. Seth Rollins, who has returned, he showed up on SmackDown.
Love it.
Asked us if we missed him.
Which we did.
And then he says he wished he could say the same about us. And walked out.
Heartbreaker. That's
Yeah,
Seth Rollins.
I cried a little. You guys had to console me. But you didn't.
Man, he was like Charlotte Flair.
Was he?
Yeah, just cutting us out. Cutting all the fans.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just as deep and just as hurtful as Charlotte's promo on Monday.
Exact same.
Main event for SmackDown, Miz defended the Intercontinental title against Cesaro. I've been saying it for several weeks. Miz has just dominated it with any of these guys that he's been having matches with the last few months. And these last couple with Cesaro have just been top notch. Yeah. And this one had the story of selling the injured shoulder and exposing the turnbuckle. It was such a simple story they told and was so effective and so good. A lot of close calls. We thought Cesaro might have had it on a few occasions. Eventually, Miz tried to escape, get himself counted out. Cesaro cut him off. Miz then, as he was thrown back in the ring, kept the title with him. The ref then pulled it away. And while the ref is putting the title away, Miz removes the paddle on the turnbuckle again as Cesaro charged at him. His shoulder banged to the exposed turnbuckle. Skull Crusher finale. Miz retains the title.
With the help of his lovely wife, Maurice.
And his lovely wife, Maurice, helped as well. I loved it. Really, really, really good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I'm still never a huge Miz match guy, but, you know, it was good. This was a night of title matches where I go, all right, well, nothing's going to happen. Like, I didn't feel that. I felt that Cesaro had every chance in the world to win on Sunday, and then on Thursday I go, oh, well, I don't buy it. So that's the only thing that was lacking.
But if it was live on a Tuesday,
I'd buy it.
There you go. More people are going to, well, a lot more people are going to be tuning in the SmackDown because it's going to be live.
For sure.
Like you were saying on social media and everything. I didn't even think of the social media stuff, but that's all going to be huge with it, too. So that wraps up SmackDown, but we got news and gossip to talk about.
Yeah.
There's the music for it. And this week's news has to do with people requesting their release. First off, Adam Rose, who we kind of saw this one coming.
Yeah.
Well, not in this way.
Well, not in this way.
No, we saw this party bus rolling down the freeway from several miles away.
We figured he was going to get released. We didn't think that he would request his release.
That's true.
And, I mean, and then he's probably doing this because he doesn't want the controversy and all the negative news that might be happening with it affect WWE. Or
they may have let him graciously bow out.
Well, I'm sure there were discussions about it.
Yeah, either way, if they talked about it, that's great, rather than just someone made a decision and no one got to say it all. You know?
Right.
I'm glad that there was discussion.
Yeah, and obviously the most important thing in all of it is we hope that Anna Rose gets everything taken care of, fixes everything that whatever needs to be fixed. I'm a fan of Adam Rose. I enjoyed his multiple characters. I enjoyed Leo Kruger. I enjoyed
the Rosebuds. I thought you guys had problems.
I actually did enjoy the character. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had the name first, but...
See, there it comes again. All this bad stuff, all this bad blood between
Oh,
you.
yeah, there's so much bad... Yeah, as you can tell, I'm just so angry and furious at him.
He's so mad.
Grrr.
Oh, he's so mad. He's like Roman Reigns doing a promo.
Now I'm angry. Now I'm happy. Now I'm sad.
See?
Now I'm perplexed. Now I'm confused. Now I'm excited we're going live on Tuesdays. Now
That's all the emotions of Roman Reigns.
that was every emotion of Roman Reigns right there. So hopefully we'll see him back at some point in the future. Now the more interesting one though this week was
Eden Styles.
and
Eden Styles?
her husband.
Mr. Eden Styles.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Cody Rhodes and
Styles.
his wife Brandy, aka Eden Styles, are no longer with the company. You saw Eden tonight. This was her last performance with them. And Cody, as in like Cody Rhodes, as in multiple time tag team and intercontinental champion, as in son of Dusty Rhodes, as in brother of Goldust, as in we just made a giant bronze statue of your father. He's out. He requested to leave.
And he spilled a bunch of tea in the process.
He wrote a letter explaining why, and it is very interesting. If you've not seen it yet, read what he wrote. And you believe it because he wrote it. Mm-hmm. I mean, first off, talking about how for months he's been trying to end the Stardust character, which we kind of thought because there was all that talk back when Dusty first passed away. How the saying was, you know, like he has to finish what he started. Mm-hmm. And he was referencing his feud with Stephen Amell. That finished. So you kind of thought around that time, okay, that ended. Mm-hmm. Let's bring back Cody. And it appears, based on the letter, it was around that time that he started trying to pitch to bring Cody Rhodes back. And they wouldn't let him. He also mentioned how the head writers ignored him or avoided him. And how they were busy hitting on the developmental girls.
Juicy.
This was completely out of nowhere to me. Because, I mean, this is one of, like, the stand-up guys. Well-spoken guy, young guy. Wrestling's obviously in his blood. Incredibly talented. Still young. What was this?
I mean, it's pretty clear that he wasn't given opportunities, that he had people that were higher up that can make decisions that didn't believe in his ability, and he has a lot of confidence and feels I can do it. And if they're not going to give him the platform, they made it pretty clear, like, they don't see any of those opportunities in him. I'm sure he sees all the things that are happening with all the new guys, and it's like, if I'm not in this, I'm still young, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go get it, and I'm going to show them.
And he'd be a perfect fit in the new era stuff because a lot of the new era guys, there's not a lot of them that are necessarily like second or third generational wrestlers. Mm-hmm. I mean, that group is a little on the older side now, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. There's obviously still more sprinkled in here or there, but he could have been like the main multi-generational superstar of the new era. But they weren't listening to him.
He felt disrespected, clearly.
And, I mean, clearly from this letter.
It's awesome. I think it's awesome that he put that out there, and it wasn't slanderous or anything. Named a couple of names and just saying, like, look, they don't see anything in me, but I think I have a lot to offer. And talking about whether it's entertainment or still being a wrestler, and talking about his dad, that it wasn't. I know I'm paraphrasing here, but it wasn't. It was a privilege to follow in his footsteps. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't his duty, it was his privilege. And he knows he's capable of more, and he's going to go after it. He doesn't have fear. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I commend him. I mean, like, kind of not comparing it to what Ryback did a few weeks ago, but at the same time, he took the chance and expressed himself.
Yeah, be heard.
And he certainly was. At least by his fans and everything.
I think it says a lot about the state of sports entertainment entirely that these guys don't feel like there isn't anywhere else to go. You know?
I just find it fascinating. Obviously, I myself dream to be there one day. We know plenty of people that are there. We know so many people who are trying to get there. And here are the guys that are requesting to leave. it's fascinating to me. And
That's a good word for it.
It's just because some things, there's so many things that happen backstage that none of us know about. Mm-hmm. I mean, to us, if I told you without reading all this, it'd be like, hey, by the way, the writers and Triple H and Vince, they constantly ignore and shut down any idea Cody Rhodes has and any suggestion and won't let him do anything. Would you believe that? No pun intended.
I would not believe that.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to do a pun.
I don't believe it either.
So, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, hopefully we'll get some more news as it goes. Eden, or Brandy, made a nice lengthy blog explaining why she's leaving and everything. So
yes, he gave her a little shout out for being ride or die. She quit because he quit.
Yeah, so we'll see what the future holds for both of them.
She'll be fine. She's fantastic.
But we got to wrap things up. And as you can see, there's so much that we could still talk about between SmackDown, the Raw split, Cody's release, etc. But you can continue talking to us about it on the various forms of social media. Christy, how can people reach out to you?
Yes, it's been so much fun to discuss all of this with you guys. I love reading your tweets. And also, please follow me on Instagram and Snapchat at Christy Reports. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Christy Reports. There are some brand new, juicy TV things there for you. So check it out.
Oh, Scott Narver.
You can follow me on Twitter at Curtain Jerks. You can listen to my comedy wrestling podcast, Curtain Jerks, available on iTunes and SoundCloud. You can also listen to me here on Wrestling Compadres Slamcast each and every week on AfterBuzz. And On Your Mark Show is back, youtube.com/OnYourMarkShow. This past week, Billy Gunn, and then we have Victoria on, and there are more guests coming. There's Marty Jannetty, there's Virgil, there's a lot of fun stuff, so go and check that out.
I watched it yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I feel like Skeeter might have a new love interest.
Does he?
I was starting to get that idea. Check out the show to find out. And you can follow me on Twitter at Will Rosenberg, Instagram, the Will Rosenberg, ProWrestlingTees.com/Christian Rosenberg. If there's a topic that you want me to discuss that we didn't talk about this, send it to me with a hashtag Rosie Retorts. I'm starting the Facebook, YouTube little video thing with that.
All right.
So if there's something you want me to talk about that we haven't talked about yet, send it to me. And of course, for all your other AfterBuzz TV news and gossip, follow them on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV. Thanks so much for tuning in. For Christy, Olson, Scott Narver, I am Christian Rosenberg. We will see you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.